Hey, I swung by. I didn't see your car in the driveway, so figured you must be out. I'll just come find you.
Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So around 2 weeks ago this happened.
Hey Connie, how's things? Hope you're keeping well.
Guys, so that was the manager of Elle.Lexxa on Instagram, who is an 18th century hot girl queen. She's bringing out a new album called Bubblegum, and I have been invited to the launch. So I think this calls for an appropriately 18th century hot girl look. Now you see, the thing is that I've been wanting to make this particular peach amazing dress from Marie Antoinette for about a year, and I haven't had really the opportunity to, or the occasion. And with 2 weeks to sort of play around with, I thought now is the time. Plus, in classic Elle style, the launch party was actually being held as a sort of tea party in a pink tea room in London called Peggy Portion. And so what better opportunity to wear a pink frilly gown and also have an opportunity to wear your 18th century garments outside of your bedroom. And so with that, I got on with my project. So today is the first day of sewing. The fit is kind of there, all homemade, and this is from a charity shop actually in Dublin. Homemade Megan Nielsen Rowan pattern. This was my mum's, and then these are the Nini Culotte patterns. And the shoes, they just make it. Today is just for cutting out. I've got all of my materials. Wow. And I'm using this Simplicity pattern right here. So I'm gonna iron my pattern pieces because that's what I do, and then cut them out. So for this dress I use Simplicity's pattern number 8161, which I think is originally created to be the sort of costumes for Outlander, but I thought that the shape of this was probably the most similar to the dress from Marie Antoinette, except that the Simplicity pattern has pleats instead of gathers. So I cut out all of the outer gown pieces out from this peachy beige coloured Duchess satin. So that's the bodice, sleeves, front and back skirt sections, and then began piling them onto my gold chair. And yeah, this is my gold chair, by the way. I got it in the summer, but I haven't actually made a video since then, so you won't have seen it. I also then cut out the petticoat, stomacher and petticoat waistband out of a slightly darker shade of pink that had more of an iridescent quality, and finally I went onto the lining and used some leftover scraps of the strawberry and Cat Kitten cotton poplin, which is absorbent for my sweaty pits. Day 2 started off well, but then I tried to change the threads in my overlocker and oof. My god, Operation Who? Broke it, so that was that. I then began sewing the bodice of the dress together. 18th century backs are just so satisfying. Look at the shape. So what I've done here is just sewn 1.5 centimeters from the bottom, and then I've ironed up all around where I've just done that stitching line, and then done little cuts in, little triangle shapes inwards, so that when we do the basting along here, it's really smooth. And then from the front, makes a lovely sharp finish for the back, which is very pretty. So I'm just gonna baste that in. Is this on? So in a slight differentiation from the programme, I'm actually going to go to the garden centre and buy some fake flowers to adorn my dress with, because I've noticed Elle does this, and if she's an 18th century hot girl and can do it, so can I. Then when I got back, I started on the sleeves, and it's really integral with the sleeves that you have all of the markings on because you're going to have a lot of things to do. So I firstly pleated them and then carried on from there. If I explain quickly what I did with this sleeve, so the sleeves have these two little pleats here, and then they have a dart to kind of make the elbow section right here, that dart there. So the way that I did this was take my sleeve, fold it so that it's right sides together, and then you basically want your dart to be going from the dot you've got there to here. Voila! Next I moved on to the sleeve frills, and for this you'll want to crank up the stitch length on your machine for one side of the frill and then narrow hem the other. After that you can adjust the gathers to fit inside the end of your sleeve. Sew those now very thick gathers down by any means possible and then attach the entire sleeve to the bodice, matching all the notches and whatnot. Wow! Next I move on to the skirt sections, of which there were 2, and marked on all of the pleated markings before getting a tad confused with the instructions. To me it would seem more logical to pleat the skirt sections before sewing them together, but alas I bowed down to the higher powers that be, i.e. simplicity, and did the pleating after making the pocket slips and sewing the skirt sections together at the centre back. The pleats themselves require you to simply fold the fabric on the solid line and bring it to the broken line, pin and sew. Okay, so we've got the mannequin upstairs. The reason it has this top on is because my mum thinks she's like a vintage connoisseur and she's selling all of her clothes on. So I'm just going to take that off and then I can show you what I've done so far. So as you can see, I've put the skirt on now, I've done all of the pleats, and I think the next stage is the lining. Guys, I'm such a mug face. So I was there showing off about how I've got this kind of sewn on and I've done it wrong. So as you can see, I did right sides together and then I sewed the skirt and the bodice together, but you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to have the bodice overlapping the skirt and then kind of sew from the top. So I'm gonna have to unpick that and do that again. Oh well. I dutifully unpicked my sins and started again, sewing the bodice over the skirt this time, and the result was much better. Next I sewed the bodice lining pieces together in exactly the same way as for the main dress. So as you can see, I've now done the lining of the bodice, and the next instruction is actually to add boning in. So you're supposed to have boning down the back here and then 2 sort of boning sections at the front here, because the idea is that you use eyelets as a closure over the front. However, I don't really want to use eyelets and have loads of sort of rope, it's not what it's called, coming around the front. I'm just planning to have my stomacher section here, and then as with my robe à la française, kind of pin on the gown over the stomacher. Evidently I then got really bored with the lining and went onto the petticoat, which is constructed much like the outer skirt. Oh yeah, get those chip nails nicely in the shot there. Ooh la la. Snip, snip, snip. Snip, snip. So I just thought I'd show you guys what I've done with the waistband so far. So as you saw, I cut out and then attached the interfacing, which you can see there. And then what I've done on both of them is just fold over 1.5 centimeters on each end and also on one of the long ends, and then I folded the entire thing in half. So imagine if that was like that, then you can see that it's in half. And what I'm going to do is, I didn't realise, but you need some twill tape for the ties, but I don't have any. So I'm actually just going to use, I think, some lace, and that will look pretty. So I'm going to carry on with the waistband for now, and then I'm doing lace for twill tape. Bougie. I then went back to the lining, pinning it into the dress right sides together, sewing, trimming, and then sewing by hand along the waist section to enclose all of those raw edges.
My own anxiety. Check your phone, get some new clothes, not sure where to begin, still stuck in my own skin.
I might have a helper. Okay, no, not today. I then did the same for the sleeves and then moved on to the stomacher, which I constructed using my American Duchess guide, and for which I went into a little bit more detail when making my robe à la française. But in summary, you want to have a good few strong layers of thicker fabric supporting the pretty outer layer. I then tried it all on and was quite happy, but also a bit dead at this point. The next day I started on making the bows for the stomacher, which I did by pinking 2 long and 1 short strip of my Duchess satin, and then gathering and moulding into bow forms, kind of like bow pasta actually. I've just actually tacked on some of the sort of pleats and the marabou feather, just so I can see how it's going to look. So originally I actually cut the trim this wide, but as you can see that is way too wide for the front and it's going to look silly. So I think what I'm going to do is just fold it in half like that and cut down the middle so that the sort of flowered embroidered section is in the middle, and then I'll do sort of the gathering like that, and then the marabou will go there. So I'm going to cut all of this trim out now. So yep, cut out all of the trim while watching Little Women, then sewed on the marabou, which took an age, and gathered up and ironed all of the trim, sewed that on, and this was all the night before I was supposed to be going to the tea party, by the way.
To RSVP. Think about how the polar bears are running out of ice. But hey, this photo got a lot of likes. Get down, but don't feel down. This is why we can't have nice things, like a clean car or world peace.
Guys, today is the day, it's Tuesday, and I've got my hair in little rag curls, as you can see. So just an update with the dress, because I didn't actually finish it last night. I left it mid-stitch, literally. There is the needle. All I've got to do is just sew on this trim round this side. Then on this side, I've got to sew on the ruffler trim and the feather trim, because basically the plan is that it's 9 o'clock now and I'm leaving at 12:30. So I have a good amount of time, but I've got to get ready in that as well, and also I want to film like maybe some reels or something like that. So I don't know, we'll just see how it goes. I then very quickly finished off the sleeves. Okay, so the dress is actually finished. I can't believe that I did this in just over a week. I'm now absolutely starving. I'm going to have a little snack before I go, but I've actually just got my little beauty area set up, and I've got these flowers which you saw me get from the garden centre, and I'm going to put them in my hair. And then I'm actually, I think, going to put the dress in this, you know, like those bags, because I don't want it to get wet if it's going to rain, which it might. And I'm planning to wear it with this little necklace, which is my mum's, and I don't know where she got it from, but it's perfectly matching all of the peachy colours. So I'm going to go and get a snack, and then I'm going to get ready. After taking my hair out of the rag curls, I combed it all out with my hands and then back combed it into a pile on top of my head, leaving out a little curly cascade loose at the back. I then had a bit of a tricky time cutting off the rosebuds from the fake flowers, but once successful, I also shoved those in my hair and then began the makeup, which I kept quite natural and obviously don't seem to have filmed. And of course, couldn't resist trying on the finished look.
Check your phone. Check your phone.
I then had to very swiftly be on my way to London because, as per usual, I was running late. Guys, I'm here. I had to get a taxi in the end because it's kind of on and off raining and I did not want to get my dress wet. I'm just going to get changed. I just saw Elle, she looks gorgeous. She's very tall in real life, so I'm just going to get changed and then I'll show you. Okay, I'm gonna go out. I'm a bit scared. I know no one. We're gonna pursue. Okay, no more sad music. Hey guys, I just got out and I'm vlogging in public and this is highly embarrassing. I'm just walking back to the train station now, but that was really good. And if I would say, if there's one thing that you can take from this vlog, it's to do something that kind of pushes you out of your comfort zone, because I had a really great time and I would definitely go again, and I've made some really good friends. So I'll speak to you when I get back. Okay, so I didn't actually end up filming once I got home, so here are some more detailed clips of the actual dress. But I just wanted to say a big thank you to Elle and her team for inviting me, and also thank you to all of the gorgeous girls I met while at the album launch. And also a big thank you to you guys. Since I haven't been uploading, I actually hit 1000k subscribers and more besides, so maybe the key here is not to upload. I mean, I'm kidding. But until next time, au revoir.
Check your phone, smoke till you feel numb.